Alright everybody, welcome back to another Ask a Dev stream. We're working on the Rend, our indie game. I'm already laughing because I forgot to click go live again. So, thankfully, this is a live open conversation. You will hear Patreon members hop in and help me out in a lot of different ways. And in this particular case, they help laugh at me when I forget to press the live button. So, special shout out to Rusty and Naroda, who always seem to be here to help keep me sane and help me find that checkbox. Also, shout out to Patreon members and everybody who helps support the channel, spread the word, let people know what we're doing. We're making an indie game. It is an insane amount of work, and you all and your feedback is what's going to make this fun. So I very much appreciate you all being here. Today, we are working on making it so that the player can choose which ability types they're using. We have a lot to catch you up on, so we're just going to hop straight in. Rusty and Rhoda, thanks for being here. Thanks for laughing with me and sometimes at me. It's all cool. Okay, I need to update everybody on where we're at. So as part of our foundations, we've got these, sheets of docs that kind of blew up as far as all the magic that we're implementing. The one that we've been working on a lot has been Pulse. So all the stuff that's green has been implemented, which is cool. Even the base melee attack tiers, and I think I got ranged attacks mostly working, but I'm just going to show you what that looks like real quick, just so you all can see where we're at. Okay, so if we go, let me pick up a bunch of these. We go full screen. Okay, so this is Pulse Magic. Okay, I don't have any shards equipped right now. If I swipe a character, you can see my base attack is just doing, also, I have a cheat on right now. I have 100% crit chance with 50% crit damage. So I'm doing that because you can see in the damage numbers that are showing up above their heads, 500 is the base damage, 250 is the crit damage, and I wanted to be able to debug that as I was working. So that's what you're seeing. So if we mouse over Pulse, we should go to 700 if we go to tier 1. So there we go, we have 700 plus a 350 crit, which is cool. So this is just how I've been testing this. So you can see it just goes up, which is great. And then we have our ranged attacks doing the same thing. This is the crazy version of ranged attacks right now. I have way too much power. That's going to get changed. Then for the pulse stream, if we go, for example, with Thunder Strider, this one is the one that does damage and knockback on enemies. If we go stand in the middle of these guys and we execute our Relic move, it pushes them away. And this gets stronger and stronger as we go. So if we go to tier 2, for example, it pushes them even further back. And then if we go even further, this will, it's on a 6-second cooldown. Maybe. This is okay. I just got mixed up. Thunder Strider also gives me so Thunder Strider's spiel is it gives you a speed dash. I forgot. So on the speed, you can see how fast I'm moving, and now I'm back to normal. So what happens is every 5 or 6 seconds I have to go back and look. Thunder Strider, you can push enemies away, and then you get a speed dash where you can dash through them. And when you dash through them, you do enemies as well. So that's Thunder Strider. Stormbringer, and unfortunately I don't have enough. I don't have enough shards, so we're going to play again, and we're going to redo that with Pulse Stormbringer. Stormbringer is the one that when we're standing in the middle, it pushes them away, and then it pushes them even further away. And if we go to tier 2, is it? Yeah, it starts the daisy chain, right? And then finally at the end, it does the ultimate type move where it'll push them back, and it creates a storm field around where you are, and anything that enters this field will also take damage. So it's all about crowd control and clearing the space to give you room to do all your stuff. Point is, and then Raging Tempest. We've done that one. I think Raging Tempest is chaining damage. Is that what it is? This is not displaying correctly. It's ripping shockwave that damages knockback enemies. Yeah, okay. So that's all implemented. And then the other one that is worth mentioning real quick is we're actually going to escape and go again. If we pick up these shards and we go full tier on pulse, generally speaking, this is just going to increase your damage all the way up to the final tier. But if you're on the final tier and you attack, perfect strikes. And by perfect strike, what I mean is when you attack, you see that little star that shows up. If you chain your attacks at the timing of those stars, you get perfect strikes. I don't have visuals for that yet, but what you can do is if I get 3 of those in a row, the final attack with a full tier pulse, full shard pulse implementation will put a lightning bolt on the enemies with a 50% chance. So I missed it. Where's my lightning bolt, man? Oh, there it was. There it is. Got it. Okay, I guess 50% is less than I thought. Anyway, so, and then that lightning bolt does extra damage. So the point is, like, this ability set has come along pretty well, but we need the ability so that when the player chooses a different set, it's equipped. Right now we don't have that. So, for example, here's what we're going to do. I am going to go down to game. I'm going to show you, this is our ability set. Right now I'm cheating this whole thing for testing. The way this works is I've literally just equipped Shockwave. Okay, so if we change this to Fracture, for example, now when we play, I no longer do any of the knockback stuff, but I have a Fracture beam that does, like, it does pushback. I haven't implemented everything about this ability, but what I want is I want the ability for the player to be able to press I and choose Fracture, and then this happens. We don't have that right now, so that's what we're going to build in today. It should hopefully be not too painful, and what we're going to do that is we're going to set up an equip unequip of the abilities effectively. So step 1, let's get this to work by using an input trigger instead of a hard-coded input action. What I mean by that is inside of our character hero, right now we have somewhere down here. It's probably easier to find in the event graph. Here's our relic move. Okay, I would like to delete this entire thing. I don't want to have to do this. Relic move or relic move secondary. So in order for the ability system to be able to do that, we need to be able to specify a couple things. So we have to change the Fracture beam to use an input tag for the ability of relic move. However, Lyra is a little confusing than the regular gameplay ability system. This will not work. If we press play right now, well, there's a couple other changes we need to make. Let's go Fracture beam. We have our asset tags as ability type action relic, but we don't have a trigger, so we need to add a trigger down here. I'll move this over so you all can see it. Down here in our ability triggers, we need to add the same trigger here. This is going to be a relic move. Input tag ability relic move. Okay, cool. And you're thinking, yeah, that's what I need to do, but nope, not with Lyra, because even though that's here and this is here, even though this isn't how we're going to do this, you would think, oh, I could just, now I should be able to press play. If this works, by the way, I'm going to be tilted. It doesn't work. I'm pressing E, it doesn't work. Great. Okay. So that's because Lyra changed stuff from the basic ability system, and they also have an input data thing that you have to do. So we need to add an input data here in order to get this to actually work. And this is going to be a relic, I believe it was. Yeah, relic move. And this is where we have to put our input tag ability relic move. Okay, so save that. check that out. Let's come back. And do we have it? Yeah. Okay, so now we've gotten rid of the input, the actual explicit input action that's defined on the pawn, which is cool. And we can now activate our abilities. Now what we need to do is we need to do a little bit of like kind of the data management part of this, where we're going to remove this from our ability set. I want to make sure I remove the right one. Fracture being delete. Okay. Cool. And I don't have any other relic move. Oh, I do have kinetic dash. I don't need that anymore because we actually changed the way kinetic dash worked entirely. Okay. So now we no longer have the ability to trigger relic moves. So we need to do a little bit of work. So inside of our pawn, what do we want to call this thing? I think I had written it down at one point. Hold on, let me see what I wrote down. What was I going to call this thing? Sorry, my notes are kind of nuts. Set relic move. Probably could have just thought of that on my own, but my brain's not working right now. So let's do this. Let's create a new. Let's do it as a function, maybe. We could do it as a function. So we're gonna do a function, and this is gonna be set relic. Move, ability, set relic, type. I'm gonna go with ability for right now. Okay, and then in here, what we're going to do is we're gonna do a switch. So let's get our progression component. Which is probably somewhere at the bottom. Okay, this is our progression component. I'm going to get active magic class. Okay, and then in here, we're going to do a switch. Can we not do switches in here? Interesting. Is that true? Hold on a second. Compression component gets class switch. Interesting. I swear I've done switches on the class before.
Maybe if you remove context sensitive?
No, I mean, yes, maybe. But I don't remember having to do that. Hold on a second. I know I have switches in here. At least I'm pretty sure I do. That's the active magic class. Because what I do not want to do is I do not want to do a giant set of ifs. So interesting. All right, well, let's just make it work. I swear I've done that before. Okay. Set the relic ability. So let's see here. I'm trying to think of a better way than a giant if statement. Oh, I know what we could do. We could create a map. All right, we could create a map. Do we have a? Let's see here. We're in this set relic ability. Do we have local variables? We do. This is gonna be relic ability map. This is going to be a map type. It's going to take a, this is a item definition class reference, and then this is going to be a map, and the other side of this is going to be an ability, gameplay ability, a gameplay ability. I think we could just use a tag. We don't even need the full ability here. Is there a tag? Let's do this. Let's do tag. Gameplay tag. Let's try that. Let's see what this does. Okay. And then our first one, let's make it, this is going to be fracture. And then the tag is going to be, here we go. Okay, so what is this thing tagged as right now? This thing is tagged as ability type action relic. We need to specify a little bit more than that. This is going to be, let's add a subtag here, and this is going to be fracture. Yeah. Okay, and then we can add in, we can change this to fracture. Okay, and then over here in our hero, this is going to be fracture. So that's going to be the tag. And then we need another one, and this one's going to be pulse. And the pulse needs the same thing. So if we go back to here and we look at our pulse, there's a gameplay ability here called Pulse Shockwave. And the tags for this thing are ability type relic. We need pulse. Add a subtag. This is going to be pulse shockwave. All right, let's compile and save a bunch of things for the inevitable crash, hang, whatever we want to call it. Compile and save. Check out. Save all. Okay. Legal references. What are you talking about? Let's see here. Fracture. Where's our 2D hero pawn? So this needs to be the shockwave. Ability type action. Oh, you know what? That's not actually what. It's interesting. We have conflicting stuff here, but that's okay. We'll go with this for right now. Trying to keep track of gameplay tags and the data aspect of it reminds me of trying to wrangle living naming conventions a little bit. I think ultimately what's going to happen is that is all going to change once I figure all this stuff out. Okay, so to clean it all up, technically we could add a bunch more here, but rather than doing that, let's just try to get this to work. So the first thing we need to do is get our Lyra ability system component. Ability system component. Lyra, I'm gonna get the Lyra one, I think. Okay, and then I'm gonna clear ability. Ooh, but that's with the handle. I don't want to do that. I want to clear tag. Nope. Remove tag. Oh, are you kidding me? We don't have a clear abilities by tag? That's a bummer. Hold on. Bummer. What I was hoping to do lost sound. Hold on. You guys still here?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What I was hoping to do was use tags and not have to store handles to the active ability. But seemingly, I don't see a clear ability with tags. I don't see. Hold on, let me do a quick internet search. It doesn't have a built-in clear ability with tags. Oh, we could clear ability with class. Hold on, let's see if that's a thing. Clear ability. Clear ability. That's all ability. I don't see a class either. Clear ability. If I make a handle. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I don't see a clear ability with class either. Hold on. Dude. Alright, so apparently there's no clear ability by class. So everything that I did to remove the tags because I wanted to avoid storing the handle is gone. So we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to do this by storing the handle, or we would have to go back to code, write a new function that would allow us to clear abilities by tag, which would be fine, but at this point, let's just do this. So we're going to promote this to available. No, not to available, to a variable. And this is going to be current relic ability. Man, sometimes it just seems like the ability system missing some just common stuff, man. Ability handle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get this. And we're going to check to see if is. How do you check to see if this is valid? Maybe you don't even have to, you just clear it.
Yeah, I don't think you have to, because if you haven't filled the data, it'll just try to clear
nothing. Basically. Okay, so we're gonna take this, we're gonna clear. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear this. Okay, and then that's the first part. So when we call this, we're gonna clear it. Then what we want to do is we want to grant ability, give ability. Here we go. And I don't know that we even need. I don't think we need our lookup anymore because we don't need the tags. So let's do this. Let's just bring this in as an input. Okay, so that's going to grant the ability. I'm not going to worry about levels or anything like that. And then we're going to store this here. Okay, so theoretically, pretty simple, although it took us a long time, like everything for me and the ability system. Theoretically, this should grant the ability. Now, when we start, we don't have the ability. If we start right now, I have a handy dandy debug menu. If I print out all my abilities up here, I have range attack, toggles, melee attacks, jumps, dashes. I don't have fracture. I don't have pulse shockwave. Okay, so that's cool. We know that's not there. So now what we need to do is we need to hook it up in our loadout. So save all, and then in our loadout, what we want to do is when they click these buttons to activate the magic type, it will grant that ability. So let's see if we can figure that out. This is a magic type button. So if we go to our magic type button, WB magic type, when we click it, what are we doing here? We do have the magic class. That's all we need. We're setting the style on clicked. If it's a relic move, we're going to set the relic path data from our compression component. And then we're going to do some parent stuff. So I think we can just plug it in right here, since we've already got it. So here's what we'll do. We should probably, by the way, check to make sure that this component is valid before we do anything with it. But we're rolling dangerous style. So let's just go ahead and do set relic. Oh, dude, it's not on our, it's not actually on our progression. It's on our controlled pawn. We're gonna have to cast this to a 2D hero pawn in order to get what we need. So this in, and we've got our magic type. This is a Lyra inventory item definition. What did I set that up as? Ability class is gameplay ability class reference. Oh, we do still need our lookup then. Okay, we got to change our lookup. Let's change this to, this is going to be shard class. Item definition shard. Okay, and this is going to be a Lyra. Inventory item definition class reference. The reason for that is because I am using the shard class as like my lookup for all my magic types. Rather than having yet another, like, rather than having a string or an actual class that defines what it is, because the shard type is associated with the magic types, I'm just using the shard type as the key for all of my stuff. So that's why I'm using that. It may seem counterintuitive, but it makes sense, at least to me, and also from the standpoint of I'm not creating a whole bunch of extra variables. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, this is our Lyra inventory, and then rather than the ability type here, this is going to be a gameplay ability, and this is going to be a class reference. So compile that, and then we're going to have to rebuild this table. So let's go fracture, and then this is going to be fracture, and then we're going to do pulse, and then this is going to be pulse. So we've got those rebuilt, and then we're going to come in here, and then we're going to take this, and we are going to get our map, and we're going to find this class, and with that we're going to plug that into our ability class. Now we should probably, for kicks, double check that we actually find it, just to be safe. Okay, this should never happen. We really only have 5 magic types. We have 5 magic types with 2,500 parts each, but at this level, we're not going to have that many things like switching in and out. So technically I'm not worried about it, but whatever, we'll just do that anyways. And then in here, the magic class is going to be, this should now take our magic class, which it does. Okay, So theoretically, the way this should work now is when we come in here, we should click the button for the magic type and it should set our relic ability. Setting our relic ability should come back to our 2D pawn and it should give us the ability. So if I press play right now, I do not have any of my E's. If I press I and I go fracture, when we close out of this, if I press the abilities, do I have fracture? I do not see it. Actually, I definitely don't see it. So, is this stuff working? I don't know. Let's see here. Are we hitting this? Does it need to actually have a level? And are we hitting... That's our 2D hero pawn. Well, first off, are we getting this? And then inside of our magic, are we getting this? Let's test it real quick. Fracture. No. We are not hitting that. So... our control pawn must not be what I think it is? Oh. I see. Okay. No, I have a logic flaw. Okay, let me show you all the logic flaw. So this button is split. Okay. This stasis, fracture, echo, etc. These are all standard core magic buttons. But this same button is being used for the relic ability buttons as well. And the way the button works is it switches based on whether or not the button is set to be a relic move or not. So all of this logic actually needs to be not in the relic section. It needs to be down here after we set our magic class. Kind of makes sense. So the true, hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. So true should do this. False should set our magic class. Should set our relic ability. And if for some reason it's not valid, it should continue on its merry way. Okay. Ouch. That kind of hurt. Okay. And we're going to go full leap of faith. We're going to get rid of our our breakpoints. And just let it ride. And go. Fracture. There it is. Oh, there it is. Fracture beams at the top. That's cool. So close this. So now if we test this. Okay, we have fracture beam, but I can't trigger it, which is interesting. That is interesting. However, if we switch to pulse, here's what I want to know. We have pulse shockwave. Do we still have fracture beam? No, we do not. So, okay, so it's partially working. This is not triggering the fracture beam, though. Okay, so our input data, relic move, input tag ability, relic move. Our fracture beam is set up to input tag relic move, and our pulse shockwave is not set up to input tag relic move. Let's add that relic move, and the asset tags. This is going to be pulse shockwave. Compile and save. Fracture beam. Okay. So, where we're at is value to bind ability activation 2. I wonder if we need this. I've never tried doing this way. So, this could be. An input ID value to bind the ability activation to. Do we really think that it's as simple as an integer? Are you telling me that we have to set that to 5? That would be the most unintuitive thing I could think of. Okay, I mean, thankfully that didn't work, I guess. We do have the fracture beam. It's always something. Okay, we're definitely not able to activate this ability. There is a workaround. I'm not a huge fan of it. I want to understand what is, hold on, let's look up what this is supposed to be. Let's see what the internet says about this stuff. I think worst case scenario, we can make this work by bringing back our input action definition in our pawn. So the input ID is a legacy gas feature. So we should have this at -1. Okay. And then yeah, but I don't see anywhere where we're set. No. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some digging on this. So let's see if we can, let's see if we can get this to trigger from here. I don't, and then what I'll do is offline, I'll figure this out. So we're gonna go I underbar, not IS, I underbar, relic move. Okay. And then we're gonna try activate. Oh, we need the ability system component. Get the Lyra ability system component. Try activate ability by tag, and the tag that we're going to use is we're going to make this and this is going to be the relic move. Okay, and just for kicks, I want to look at something here that's diff with the depot. This is why I like version control. Nope. I want to see in the event graph, we removed all this stuff. I want to see what I was connected to. Let's see here. I was connected to trigger. Nothing crazy. Okay. Interestingly enough, I had a reference to self there. I don't even know if I need that, but okay. Compile and save. All right, so first things first, if we go ahead and press E, nothing works. If we bring back fracture and we press E, nothing works. So that's because our tags are now currently messed up. And they're messed up because they're set up to be, all right, so let's do this. Ability type, rather than fracture, we're just gonna go to relic. So this is ability type action relic. We'll set that. And then same thing for pulse shockwave. We're gonna go relic. ability type action relic. We're not going to specify what kind of relic move it is. And then back in our pawn, we're going to go with relic, ability type action relic. And we're not going to do the input tags. Okay, so no fracture. Theoretically it's equipped. There we go. Bingo. Alright, so we got our beam. Now if we switch to pulse, it works. Okay, so our player is now able to switch between magic types, which is cool. The one problem we do have, the one problem we do have is it is technically possible, because each of these abilities has their own cooldown, it is possible for the player to switch to pulse, press the E key, 1, 2, 3, and within probably 3 seconds, re-trigger a relic move just by toggling the interface. Because the cooldowns are not shared across the abilities. That is like a certain level of gaming the system that I am just not going to worry about right now. If you're going that fast, I'm like, power to you right now. We have so many other fish to fry, so to speak. But this gives me the next piece of the foundation that I need in order to be able to build out the rest of the magic types, which is kind of was the goal for today. Because we've already got pulse shockwave in a pretty good place. And now we're going to build out fracture and then, you know, stasis probably. So that was kind of the goal for today. I wanted to kind of get all that working. I am going to go away. I'm going to do some digging. I'm going to try to figure out how, because Lyra's input activation is different than the standard ability system. And so I need to look into that input data for Lyra to see if I'm equipping the ability later. Maybe I just missed a tag. It is entirely possible I just missed the tag. But it is also possible that I need to do something special because I am using that as a backbone, which once again gets into the whole conversation. Are we sure we really want to be using this as a backbone? Right now, we're making progress. It's not slowing me down, and there's potentially a lot of really cool stuff if I decide to go multiplayer. So I'm happy to continue doing that. So I'm actually going to call that as a successful dev stream. We actually got some stuff done. I'm actually now in a place where I can continue moving forward, and I'm going to actually start building out the fracture magic stuff. Before we wrap up the stream, did either of you or anybody who hopped in have any questions for this particular topic?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, cool. For everybody else who's watching this after the fact, as always, thanks for being part of this adventure. I hope that everybody has an amazing rest of your day, week, weekend, etc. And I will catch you all in an upcoming devlog or live stream. Take it easy.